So we're getting there, aren't we? Yeah, it's taking shape. You can see the direction that you want your stuff to go, and it's all falling together. The thing you've got to remember though is there's always more, and it's more and more and more, and that is what we're really trying to emphasize with these last couple of weeks as we're getting into this. Alright everyone, welcome along. Weekend work, yeah? Back once again. What we're going to do is we're going to pick up where we left off, aren't we, yeah? So we've got here, we're week 8. We're looking at the consecutive structure of it, yeah? And actually starting to pull it together. We've published it up. There's a couple of things that we're going through as well. I want to take you through some things, and there's still more that we're going to do for next week for our little bit of a final showcase of what's the final report looking like and where are we all going to gang with it. So let's cut an hour into Power BI desktop and have a look and see what this report is now looking like a week later. Alright, so you'll be like, you haven't done much really, have you? The main thing I've done, what you'll notice, and this is where you get to that first pass, right? So we've published this up now, so we're actually having a look at it online and seeing how it's starting to shape. Because this is what we were talking about, weren't it, last week, when we were saying about you need to understand the structure that you're going to go. What does it look like to navigate around? How do things look when you're seeing it on the page? Like, for me, I hate that. That's what I'm going to have to fix. They're just not aligned. It doesn't look right. So there's work to be done on there, right? Other things to think through is actually, how do I know I'm using that button properly? So what's the format that we should have for that, right? I've got people who've done the most events, and we've got the person who's done the most consecutive events here, right? So there's things we can do with that. Is that right? Does that format work? Okay. You can start to see, this is that kind of alpha testing phase. So we've got to publish it up, we're having a look, what works, what doesn't work. Okay. So we can see if we hover over, it's going to give us some information about an event, which is excellent. You know, so we're starting to think through, right, what works, what doesn't work. And at this point, it's really useful. Have a look yourself, because you will be the best judge of what you've done. You kind of know what you want to do. And if it's not pleasing to you, right, chances are your customers are going, sort of works, it's all right. But remember, you will also often be like the harshest critic that you'll find. Yeah, so I'll go, oh, this is terrible, it's rubbish, right, it's rubbish. Like, this little bit here, right, I can almost guarantee, right, this piece down here, it'll be a select few people who will actually even notice it, right? But I notice it, it's annoying me. So, how do we fix that? And these are things, as I say, so it's probably a case of we'll try lowering that down, seeing how it works when it's at the bottom, aligned with that, and we'll test it, and then I'll test it on a different monitor. You know, all these things that you do to make sure it's working properly for you. The other things to start to go through is that consistency of colour. So we need to be talking about theming, things like that. Now, one of the things I'm not doing on this report and in this video set is I'm not putting on the Parkrun official theme. Parkrun official theme? They have a no, they don't. They don't have a Power BI theme, but they have a branding guide. Where you've got a branding guide, you can build a theme. So you can go to a Power BI theme generator and start to build your theme using that, right? And I was debating, should I do that? Should we not do it? But I thought, no, this isn't an official Parkrun report. Last thing I want is for them to go, how? Ye, get that tuck down. Right? Stranger things might happen. They might go, oh, that's awesome. Well done. Please put a Parkrun theme on it. And I'll do it. But, you know, since I'm showing you all the gubbins and what the secret stuff is, you can put your Power BI themes on it yourself. What I am doing though is we've got plenty of space up here so we can put some core event stats in, like, so the total number of runners, like in terms of unique runners, total number of finishes, total number of registered finishes, all those things which we can put in. I think there's plenty of space up at the top there. That's worked out well for me, you know, it's a lot better than I was expecting. We've got this much space up here. How does this flyout work? So if we click on the flyout, this is working quite well. So I can change the filter. You can see it, all the filters update on there. I can pick a specific thing. We've got a blank there, so we need to drop the blanks from it, make sure that's all filtered. Right, that's working. I've got the buttons though aren't working properly, so I need to fix the buttons. Okay, so that'll be job to do, fix buttons. Right, but you're already starting to see, oh, of course, reset button. I want a reset button up there. We're starting to move to that next level. We're starting to take delivery of a report. Okay. So what we've got here, and I wanted to show you quickly, was this, where we've got the URL. Right, and the eagle eye, hang on. You had that URL to start with, because that's how your link was. And then you took that away to get a part run ID, and now you're putting it back in. Well, yes, I am. Okay, it's redundant data. We don't want it in here for everybody, right, have their part run ID. But what I want you to see is it's possible to have a measure return a URL. You need to make sure you're in your data category for it. You tell it it's a web URL, and then you can put it into your report pack, right? And you could put it somewhere, you could put it wherever you wanted, really. Yeah, we could in theory build a button with like the person's name in the text and with a link, web URL to go to that, right? I don't want to, but we could. I'm going to take you through the buttons, of course, as well. So I've got this one here set up where you can pick an event and it'll take you to the drill through for the event, right? Great to see the event. I'm experimenting with some of the default text. I've let it build a text thing, see how it actually, see what it looks like, really. You know, do I need to tweak it? Do I not? I'm probably going to tweak it, I'll be honest, right? What we've got when you hover over it, though, is it gives you a summary of the participants, right? So we can see here, you know, this is somebody else, right? But it's not showing me their names. And I was saying this, you know, I don't like names, you know, I'm just kind of, that's the me in the corporate world. I can't show names. Right? The other thing I've done, I've put this in. So I can click on this and it'll take me to the participant's part run profile, right? So like, oh, wow, right? So I can actually be looking and going, oh, this person, oh, who did that, right? Of course, real world, we probably would put the names in, but I thought what I wanted you to see is you don't have to. There's ways of actually going around and doing what it is you want to do without necessarily putting a name in. You know, you can build these lookups and things without it all having to associate together. I know what I'm trying to say, okay? So that was important to me, that we've got that capability of doing it, right? Because it's of the way it works, we can pick and choose like quite a small subset, and it'll then just show us these are the ones in this. So if I pick, well, who was that person? It shows me who that person was, and I can hover on it, give me some information. I can click on it and go and view their profile. So we've got to this point where it's all starting to take place, okay? Progress is being made. And now, get your pen out, and you start to make notes. All right, page 1, this, page 2, that, okay? It's all good. Buttons, yeah? Quick show and tell on the buttons, right? This button here is one I've set up that it's interactive because it ties to these. So it's got a measure that's pulling the actually selected item there. So if we look at it, it's this event button. Okay. So all we're saying is give me the maximum event number, right? And saying view the event. Okay. And that'll then do that. If there's nothing selected, what actually is happening is it's being disabled, and that's due to the action. So the action that's been set on it is it's an event, sorry, it's a drill through event, sorry, it's a drill through to take you to event details page. That's what I mean, drill through event, drill through to the event details page. So if there's no possibility of a drill through, it won't show you it, right? Now, buttons like this are really useful, especially if you're going to say, well, I'm going to use touch, or I'm going to enable something for touch. So if we come back to here, right, and I try and use me touch here, right, I can hold and then it opens up, but it's not an intuitive thing, right? So I can tab that and then there. And touch, it also makes it difficult to do things like to view tooltips. So don't put too much core information in a tooltip. You know, these runner details here, are probably about as much as you'd want to go to, where it's kind of the name that's hidden. But if I click and hold, it's showing me it, isn't it? So I can see who that is. And then I can touch and open their page. We do that. The other things to think through, because there are obviously buttons have, and as we're starting to get to the point here, behind me heat, right? Let's do it that way. Okay, so we've got a button here. What you can see is fill. It's got a state, hasn't it? So what I can do is I can turn that on. Default state would be that, and say, like, on hover, I want you to go bright red, on click or on press, let's go orange. Okay, disgusting colours, I know. Okay, what does that mean? So nothing there, but if we click here, it goes a colour. If I click, it goes a different colour. So it's becoming more interactive. So part of your theme is, of course, to think about your buttons. What are my buttons going to look like? How are they going to interact? How are people going to click on them? Do they need to be square? Do they need to be rectangular? Do they need to be round? Do they need to be something different? Do we need icons? Do I need something, right? All of these are factors that you need to be thinking about as you're going ahead and building your reports. Okay, really kind of think, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, so we've got that basics starting to take shape. I've got this one running on a drill through, and I've got this one doing the page navigation. Now, one of the things that I've heard is coming in a week or so, not in a week, month or so in Power BI is a new page navigation thing. So I was going to talk about this some more, but I'm waiting until this. It's pointless doing it now and then there's a new one coming out. What you need to be thinking through is, this is a page navigation button. So what it means is it has in its actions, or it will have in its actions, this is a page navigation. What page do I want to go to? I want to go to the event details page. Right, and then I can click here and it'll take me to the event details. Right, it shouldn't go to the event details, sorry, it should be going to the people page, shouldn't it? Which we haven't built yet, which is the thing. Right, but you're getting that point. This is what I mean, that you start to go through. You're making notes all the time. What do I need to tweak? What do I need to change? What have we got to do? Right, and then of course on top of all that, right, you've got the ongoing piece of work, like, I need to get this better, I want to make this better. Okay, so one of the things I've got is, we've got this consecutive runner thing, right, in terms of your consecutive events that you've attended. So if I look here, you can see I've got a highest consecutive, right, which is mental bit of code this, right. I'll be honest, this is one that was just kind of, I was going, oh, right, and I was getting myself tied in knots and put a request. Has anyone got any hints on this? Right, and someone said, oh, you've missed a couple of things. Right, fixed it. I don't like it because it's not efficient, it's not effective. Right, and it's partly because as well, it's got another 4 measures that it all relates to and it ties back and forth to it, right? So it's not great at the best of times, and I'm like, well, we could do better. We definitely could do better. So I've been looking around, I was looking through, and again, this is why I keep saying, the community is there. Don't want to be reinventing the wheel. This is like a consecutive sales kind of thing. So I've found a consecutive sales measure, right? And it works, right? But I need to work out how to put it, really how to think through the right way to present it and have it work. So we've got this in, and I think this might work, you know, this is nice and quick, and we can see it works here. If we pick an event, we do this, it tells us who's got the most, right? But then it was starting to get a bit weird at times, and it just, so it's kind of a case of I need to get a max X going with it, but it's a max X with this and that, looking through the, yeah, honestly, you didn't want to right? It's just like, oh. So I'll experiment with this a bit more and see if we can work out something better. This is nice, quick and punchy, but it's not structured in a way that's going to quickly fold out, and the way I was thinking through is going to end up going through and reading through so much text or so many rows and multiple times. It's not going to be quick, and especially as you get more and more events, it's just going to get worse and worse. So I'm kind of going, I don't know. At least with a calculated column, and bear in mind, people who know me, I didn't know calculated columns, it's the worst thing ever, right? Calculated column will be derived when the model is built. so it'll be calculated then. Right? This is a measure, so it's calculated when it's used. Okay? So when the model's refreshed, if it takes an extra 20 seconds, worst case scenario, to build a measure, right, or to populate a calculated table, a calculated column, you can kind of live with that. Right? If it's a case of saying it's 20 seconds when I click a button to get the update, people can't live with that. That's not going to work for your customer base. So you end up having to think through and go, right, what's the right way to make all this work? So with all that in mind, everything that's gone on, right, I've got more to do on this. The more I look at this, the more and I start going down a route, and I'm like, nearly there. It's just, I'm nearly there. It's going to become, I can tell, it's going to become my little kryptonite I can't make work. Okay? But in the meantime, we've got the most events, we've got the people who've done that. We've got that nice little summary going here. People tooltip, where we've got like your position that you've come, your quickest time, so your cheater time, your tortoise time, your cheater age grade, your tortoise age grade, your cheater position, your tortoise position, right, for finishing in. Right? It's all there. It's all like, oh, I'm dead good. Right? Because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having some fun. So what do you reckon then? Report building, I've said it so many times, right? When you're actually getting to do that whole report build phase, it sucks time, right? It just sucks and sucks and sucks time. Right? It's not too bad, right? I'm thinking professionally, I can spend 2 to 3 times the amount of time it would take, or it took, to build the rest of the model on making report layouts look good. Today, I've had a couple of calls with a customer talking about a specific, I'm not sure, I don't know, what does this measure? Oh, it's not uncommon, right? And it's not a case of saying, oh, my customer's terrible. It's not a case of saying, you're terrible, I'm terrible. It's a case of saying, this is the side that is subjective, right? The work I do behind the scenes, building your model, right? The customer doesn't see it. And in the nicest possible way, they don't understand it. But what people do see, what they do understand is, I like that, I don't like that. So don't be surprised if it just starts to suck up your time. But equally, be aware, if you're paying an hourly rate or you're paying a day rate even, right, even if, salaried staff that you've got, right, your resource that you will just burn through goes really quickly. So start with your text, right? Get your pad, get your pen, right? Say, right, I'm gonna like that, and buttons. Yeah, doesn't have to be accurate. Could be as rough as you want, but have that idea in your head for what good looks like. Make sure that your team have got that idea as well, and everyone's kind of, all right, okay, I get it, yeah, right? And don't be afraid, tooltips are really useful, drill throughs are great. Remember, keep your visuals down, you don't want too many visuals on the page. I'm sticking with what I say, 15, I keep seeing it around lower, but 15 is an absolute maximum visuals on the page, or elements on the page. Okay? And we start to piece those together and think, how is that going to work? And then once we get it all in, don't be afraid to start to look and do your performance tuning on top of it. But remember, your first phase of the report is about delivery of that report. Get it in, get people using it. Right? No matter what you do, there'll be people who don't like it. So don't expect that first report to ever be perfect, right? It's not an indictment on you as a developer. It's not an indictment on me as a developer. It's just a reality, right? People have an expectation. I'm going to get a nice report that does, and it won't quite do that something. Suddenly, once they've been in and they've clicked through something, they've got an expectation, and it'd be, well, I don't like that bit. I don't like that bit. I like that, and it becomes better. So stay safe, everyone. Yeah, still some bad times out there. Winter's coming, it's getting cold. We're all going to be like huddled up together. So be extra vigilant about the old COVID and that. I didn't need to lose no subscribers to the Rona. So get your hand sanitizers out, sanitize your hands plenty of times, keep your masks on and stay safe. Have a great weekend. Ta-da.